The opening round of the V8 Ute season, the series champ started on the back foot. Harris pushes hard into the wall, and the man on the outside was Raul Harris. And his main championship combatant came out on top. Back at the ranch, it's going to be David Cedars taking a clean race victory. As for the rest of the field, it was business as usual.
Give him a bit of a nudge to get it up there.
Oh, really sideways. Tap, tap, tap. Oh, this is getting good.
Big damage there.
Push Kermit the Frog against that wall. Now we're off to the Wild West, where the cars grow tougher and the drivers get a little bit crazier.
I think he's locked the tyre there.
Oh, big damage. More contact with over turn 5. These cars are loose at the best of times. This is the Australian V8 Ute Series, protected by Hawkeye.
Hi everyone and welcome to Barbagallo Raceway. We're in Perth, Western Australia. It's round 2 today of the 2014 V8 Ute Racing Series. Massive break since the first round of the series on the streets of Adelaide at the Clipsal 500, and just as well too. Some of these teams have had to rebuild their cars, and in the case of some, actually build new cars to be ready for this weekend. This is a track that's a real favourite of the V8 Ute Series. It's a bull ring, there's plenty of sand around. The locals are very pacey here as well. There's been plenty of work going on to get ready for this weekend.
There was no easing into the season opener of the V8 Ute Series in Adelaide. The heavy hits just kept coming.
Oh, this is getting nasty.
Big damage there.
Peter Burnett has had a big one.
While Peter Burnett's Falcon has been rebuilt in time for the Perth round, no such luck for Cam Wilson, who was also caught up in a massive crash at last year's Gold Coast round.
Scary wreck in the chicane.
Even the defending champion Raul Harris wasn't immune from the carnage. He suffered his first DNF in 3 years. But the two-time champion has a brand new car at his disposal this weekend as he tries to play catch-up.
We work hard on being consistent. That's sort of been my strength over the last couple of years. But yeah, unfortunately DNF in Adelaide. Hansford had a bit of a brain fade and stove into the side of me. But, you know, first DNF in 3 years, I can't complain that much. So, you know, we've got some catching up to do, but I'm going to work hard over the next 3 rounds to get back up to the front of the championship points and hopefully stay there till the rest of the year.
For all the dramas of the opening round, there were some success stories. Wayne Wakefield secured his first V8 Ute race win, holding off the ever-pacey Nathan Pretty.
To be honest, I was expecting to be more competitive earlier, but unfortunately I probably didn't get my hands on the best car last year, and I changed cars at the start of this year. And yeah, it's probably made all the difference. We were straight on the pace straight away at Adelaide, and yeah, I'm pretty confident this year that yeah, I'm going to win more races.
Craig Dontis also enjoyed a career-first round podium finish in Adelaide. He's determined to make the most of his second position in the series points.
Long year, so I don't want to expect too much. Consistent. I think I'll be that little terrier that's annoying all year, just getting those points and being, taking it to obviously the guys that are normally up the front all the time. It's now my time to be one of those guys who is up the front all the time as well.
David Cedars leads the championship and is looking to repeat the form which finally saw him silence some demons in Perth last year.
It's a track that I've excelled in the past in various ways, but I've never won here. I've never got a pole position. I've never got a round win. And last year, finally got that breakthrough pole, that breakthrough race win and round win. So a little bit more relaxed coming into it this year, knowing it can happen. So hopefully I don't relax too much.
But perhaps a surprise challenge this round could come from a Trans-Tasman entry. New Zealand V8 Ute Racing Series driver Sam Barry will grid up and prepare to lock horns with the locals.
Well, I think it's going to be the closest racing I've ever done. You know, it's the next level stuff. You know, there's 32 of them. We've only got about 15 in New Zealand, but what I've seen on TV, these are pretty good drivers. So got my work cut out for me.
Going to be a massive weekend here in the West, and the points coming into round number 2 in the championship. David Cedars, after a cracking first round on the streets of Adelaide, has a very slim championship lead. Looking to see if Raul Harris and Chris Walton can go rocketing up the points. Points awarded for qualifying, and the man taking the points, Raul Harris, didn't take a pole position last year, but has taken one here in round 2 of the championship. $1,000 thanks to Armorall. He just followed Chris Walton round because he thought he was the quickest car and broke later than him. That was his tactic. Worked an absolute treat. Pole position here for Barbagallo this week, and we're going to stack these guys up on the grid. Going to be a massive 3 races coming your way after the break.
This round, we profile a driver who enjoyed success in hockey and on a jet ski. One of the new young drivers of the category, Matt Nolan.
Background, I started off playing hockey, played for Queensland, represented Queensland, captain of the under-21 side, and then went on to racing jet skis, Australian champion, world number 6, and now I find myself in the Utes. The only similarities I draw from jet skis and hockey is it's still a team sport. The boys can give me a fast car, but if I don't perform, I'm not going to go anywhere, so it's definitely a team sport. So yeah, looking forward to continuing it, and we win and lose as a team. My most memorable moment would have to be this time last year. I was going up against Pete Burnett. Me and him came together. He wasn't too happy with me, but I actually drive for him now. So we've put that behind us, and we're moving forward together as a good team.
Matty Nolan classed as one of the local boys racing this weekend, despite the fact that he lives in the Gold Coast. Works over here in WA. Jason Buckwana slotting in alongside me. Race number 2 about to grid up at Bugs. These are the highlights from race number 1. It was Harris getting the jump away down into turn 1 away from Chris Walton. And relatively clean start, not too much paint getting traded.
It's quite different for the Utes, isn't it? Normally we see these guys hard into it, but a good move by Walton to get the lead down at 6, but Roll Harris, he came back down at 7, and then this continues. You can see here where Chris now gets on the power a little bit earlier, and they're side by side up against the edge of the racetrack. Great racing.
Awesome stuff. They swapped the lead 3 times in a lap, but the Renko forward with a lot of speed this weekend. Unlucky probably not to claim the Almirall Pole Position Award, but did get the lead cleanly up the inside at turn 1. Good racing, the back end sliding out. And to be honest, that was all we saw of Chris Walton. He ended up winning this race by about 3 seconds while everything kicked off back behind him. Here we go, the general carrying ute of Matty Nolan gets stranded on the racing line with that left front failure. And here comes George Miedeke, whack!
That is the worst place in the world you could possibly park. Blind corner, Miedeke came over the top of the hill and could not see anything. Straight in the back of that car.
Amazingly, Miedeke, despite that amazing amount of damage in the Warren Millett Wake Up ISEC ute, is going to be back on the grid. More stuff going on, riding on board with Adam Mardram, and there goes Reece McNally collecting Andrew Nichols, first timer this weekend in the Clean Group car.
This is what we're used to. This is what we're used to, a bit more ute action. Yeah, trying to overtake cars, lap cars, bit of a touch, and you can see there they're off in the grass. But it's all Chris Walton. He is the man of the moment. He was fast in practice and qualifying, and cleaned up in race 1.
Yep, he was streets ahead and managed to save his tyres nicely with that 3-second buffer, Ryle Harris. But check out the Fords, absolutely cleaning up the front 5 spots, all Fords. Kim Jane, winner of race 1 here a couple of years ago, the first of the Holdens to come home as we grid up for race number 2. This is the reverse grid race. Chris Walton, the winner of race 1, gets the honour of drawing the reverse grid number. And would you believe it, he's picked 19th. Philip Woodbury now gets promoted to the pole position alongside Danny Bazadzik from Melbourne. So Woodbury, one of our rookies, and a chance to go off the front row.
19th, isn't that, that'd just be painful, wouldn't it? You pull out the number and away you go. You're all the way down to the middle of the field, and Chris Walton's certainly got his work cut out for him in this one.
George Hollywood Elliott, Rick Gill, one of the local boys back here, and Reece McNally. Keep an eye out for Reece McNally, and also George Miedeke, a couple of the very experienced guys off the front. But where's Woodbury? He's pulled over on the formation lap. Phil Woodbury, the pole setter, is gone. We're looking for the orange Kubota ute, and it's not on the start line, so drama already. And Woodbury's a no-show. Bazadzik will lead him down into turn 1 with Wakefield on the outside. Martram in the Auto 1 ute's going to go the long way. Riding on board with the Thirsty Camel ute, this is Craig Dontis up through the S's. Mardram and Dixon, very tight. Hard to go side-by-side through there.
It's what I love about this circuit. There's a lot of side-by-side action. As you come out of turn 1, you can run up 2, 2 and 3, side-by-side up over the top of the hill, and you can see this sort of stuff continuing on the first lap. But then it's a matter of trying to position yourself. Look after the tyres, because it's so hard on tyres here in Perth.
Tight first lap. Big move up the inside and a big lock-up as well. Out of the way, and that is Jesse Dixon going up the inside of Jero McLeod. And Chris Walton trying to get this charge going.
Just going to say, Chris is already making the move, so he really wants to push himself right to the front of this. 19th on the grid, it's going to be hard work, and these cars are hard to pass in. As soon as you wave your foot over the brake pedal, it's easy to lock them. But we'll look for a move on the lead already.
Oh, that was Sam Barry having a look up the inside for the lead. And I'll tell you what, he might have got the run down the front straight, much like what we saw in between the 2 leaders fighting in race number 1. As we go on board the IXL car, this is Jero Gray, and who raced in New Zealand recently, as we see a Kiwi take the lead. Welcome to the Aussie Ute, Sam Barry, your new leader.
Yeah, obviously it's a big change when he's come to a circuit. He's never been here before. He's now found himself leading the race. The pressure's on him now, but this racing is fantastic in the Utes. I love the way these things slide up around the top of the hill. The rear tyres start to go. Look at that. They're already sliding. And we're only on lap 2.
You should probably tell Sam that he's only got 6 tyres to play with for the weekend, as Jesse Dixon and the Heyman Reese Ute pushing out, just making the most of the exit curbs through turn 5. We plunge down into the bowl.
Down the inside, you can see a bit of lock brake action. You can see these guys jostling for position, side by side. The run out of 6. It puts him actually in a good position for the braking zone down into, that's Jeremy Gray there, puts him in a good position for the braking zone down to turn 7.
Yeah, that was Nathan Pretty up the inside, and it looked like Elliot Barber might also be able to get a bit of a ride with that one as well. Under brakes we go, and that is in 3rd position, Wayne Wakefield.
Yeah, he's pushing pretty hard. He's almost... More contact!
Jero Gray goes the long way at turn 7 around the exit curb, and Elliot Barber is going to look up the inside. And Wakefield looks like he's got the speed to get to the front here. He's actually got his teammate leading in Barry right now in the 3rd car, Chris Walton. He's trying to get through this field from starting 19th. And Jero Gray's going to be stuck on the outside here, manages to get back in line. You want to make sure that you sort that out very quickly, because those curbs come up very quickly up to the S's.
You've got to be really patient when you're driving these cars, because they're on that Yokohama tyre. It's a grooved type slick racing tyre, but and Jesse Dixon there getting close. He's going to make that move down the inside. He's looking very sharp in this one, actually, I've got to say. But you've got to be really smooth with these cars. You're trying to overload the steering, you're trying to overload the brakes, and you're offline straight away, and there you go, you lose a spot, especially in this sort of racing.
Wow, Jesse Dixon up to 3rd. He started off about the 4th or 5th row, so he's passing cars comfortably. And more going on. Down the hill we go. Up the inside. And this is going to leave Wakefield on the outside. One of the local guys making that move stick. Good to see Clint Harvey up inside the top 5 in a Ute race. Used to seeing him race plenty of different things here at Barbagallo as they jostle for position down this front straight. A fair bit of weaving going on.
Weaving left and right. Putting pressure on the driving standards observer, I can assure you. He's up in the control tower there pulling his hair out. But, yeah, Marjoram, he's looking for a way through as well. When you get out this corner here, it's all about smooth. You've got to get on that throttle, then you've got to go through that gear change nice and smooth. Up over the crest of the hill, the car becomes light as you then try and squeeze the brake up into up the hill.
Coincidentally, it's Grant Johnson who's got the tough call this weekend. You know all about being a DSO.
Oh, I feel sorry for Grant Johnson up there at the moment with all the action that's been going on with these guys. And you can see they're still using all of the road and the bits on the outside of it. So the pressure's on, especially in these reverse grid races. You've got to find a way through. You've got to find a way through cleanly. Look after your car, look after your tyres, and put yourself in position to gather as much points you can for that race 3. But it's Jesse Dixon who's really doing a good job here. He's now pushing to get himself up into 2nd place. And he's after Sam Barry out in the lead.
What a drive. From 8th on the grid, he takes 2nd and relegates Danny Bazadzik back to 3rd. He's still doing a very good job at the moment. From Melbourne, Danny Bazadzik, the Just Car Insurance Ute. Another guy from Melbourne, that's Elliot Barber, trying to slot into the traffic. On board with Jero Gray, recently raced at Pukekohe, alongside Chris Walton and Sam Barry. So 3 guys making the trip back to WA after racing over in New Zealand. It's Ben Dunn on the outside, qualified 11th. He's got Kim Jane up the inside. That was very, very close. And here comes Cedars, the winner of this event last year. Haven't seen too much of him so far this weekend. Championship leader coming into this round. Big lock-up for Gray. Did a good job to avoid running into the championship leader. Nervous moments. Craig Dontis now, 2nd in the points coming into this weekend. Doing a great job, but he has got Nathan Pretty up behind him. 25 years experience racing Holdens, Nathan Pretty. As Marjoram lines him up. Now, these guys were banging panels in Adelaide, so there's a bit of feeling here. That's a brand new Ute on the outside for Jeremy McLeod. And it was banged up in transit over here on the Nullarbor. Just about every single panel and windscreen got a bit of a dent in it. But thankfully, they've got that thing fixed up. And up the inside goes Marjoram, doing a double degree at the University of WA. Exams will be on the calendar for him by the time he gets up to Darwin for the next round. And have a look at this battle going on in the background.
Dontis there, he's got to run. It's Jesse Dixon actually taking the lead now from Sam Barry. So see if Sam Barry can come back at him, but Jesse Dixon here is looking fast at the moment. Got the headlights on, he's focused. He really wants to win his first Ute race.
So Dixon to the lead as we head off to an ad break. The Australian V8 Ute Series, protected by Hawkeye. We're racing around Barbagallo Raceway. And it's round number 2, race number 2. for the Utes as we go winding our way through turns 4 and 5. There's Raul Harris, number 1 in the pole sitter this weekend. Behind him, Andrew Fisher in the Jesus car. Here's one for you, Bugs. New paint that they put on those rims as the lockups happen down at the bottom.
Lockups continue.
A huge lockup, as a matter of fact.
We've gone beach.
And that's Bzadzik. No, he was doing so well inside the top 3.
He's actually done a good job to get that out of there. Once you get into that soft sand, if you can keep the car straight, you can make the hard sand on the outside, but he's done a good job to get out of there. But look at Jesse Dixon. He's starting to pull a gap on Sam Barry. There's Chris Walton. He's actually moved up through the field and done a great job.
He's flying. He's up inside that top 10 comfortably. I was going to say about the Jesus Racing Ute, new paint on the rims, and it started to melt and actually loosened off every single wheel nut on every single wheel in race 1. Sent this almighty shudder going through the car. That's an unusual one.
Yeah, no, it's when they repaint those rims, you've got to make sure that you take the little bit out where the wheel nut sits on there so that it doesn't actually do that. I've seen that happen many a time before. But the car looks great, doesn't it? Andrew Fisher in the Jesus Racing car.
Got the plain rims on now. A smart move. So Dixon with a very comfortable lead right now. And Sam Barry, 6th in the New Zealand V8 Ute Series points, doing a good job so far. Hanging inside that top 2. A couple of West Aussies about to go at it here.
As you come across the top of the hill there, the car gets all light, and you can see these guys, they run right out to the edge of the track. Trying to get a bit of turn in, Larier sliding, all trying to get on the power, and he's actually used all of it and some.
So there goes Harvey. He goes off at the exit to turn 6, and that's more than just tyres going off.
I was going to say, maybe he had a problem there, because as the car turned in, things stepped out in the rear, so it looks like maybe he had a flat tyre, or the rear wheel might be loose or something, but yeah, he certainly left the racetrack.
Have a look at Chris Walton go, winner of race 1. First time he'd won a race here since 2012. Back in his rookie year when he was the Rookie of the Year. More lockups going down in turn 1 this time, and up the inside goes Walton on Kim Jane.
He's got a bit of damage on the back there too as well, Chris, so he's not afraid of mixing it. Chris Walton, he races go-karts in the off weekends as well, so he's the Australian go-karting champion, done that a couple of times, and he's a very fast peddler in these utes, I can assure you. Elliot Barber in the Just Cars Insurance Holden ute over the top of the hill. You can hear those engine revs pick up, and there's where those guys just slide off the edge of the track. Elliot Barber now trying to hold Chris Walton out, but no, Chris is coming through.
Wow, so Barber went defensive down the right-hand side, and it wasn't enough. Walton still found a gap through, riding on board with Barbs right now. Can he get the run out of 6 and up the hill? Doesn't look to be the case. Recently did a bit of driving at Sepang, actually, doing some driver days over there with Slick Miedeke. And that's another spot now for Chris Killer Walton, who's doing a killer job. Driven from 19th in the grid right now. He's absolutely flying.
I was going to say, Kim Jane wants part of this argument as well. You can see Kim Jane looking for a run down the inside, but Barber has covered that one. So Kim Jane's going to have to try and go around the outside. He's not going to do it in turn 1.
There's Cedars, championship leader, but for how much longer? He's got all-spec aluminium on board once again. Something that we saw from them back in 2009 when he had the wildcard V8 Supercar entry at the Bathurst 1000 as Barber lets it hang loose.
Just going to say, look at the gap that Walton's pulled on these two straight away, and you can tell that Walton's car's nice and clean. These ones sliding around all over the place. Up over the top of the hill again as the rear steps out. And Barber's trying to get the power down, trying to keep the car clean. But, yeah, Chris Walton, he's the fastest guy out there at the moment.
Battle on down at Kolb, and there goes Cedars up the inside of Jane. Those two guys have both won the first race here at Barbagallo in recent years, until today when Walton did it. Here we go. They're going to argue about this the whole way down the hill. Heavy braking down here. It's an uphill approach, so you can brake even later, but these things 1.5 tonnes or 1.8 tonnes, as a matter of fact, they're so hard to pull up.
There's nothing in it, is there? Ford versus Holden. Now, Jane's going to come back on the inside, see if he can get a run down the first corner, but it looks like Cedar's going to get the job done. But there's nothing in it. Oh, no, Barry.
He's thrown it away down at turn 1. Big lock-up in the Mini-Quip ute, and he's gone firing off. Did a good job to get it back on the racetrack. Should rejoin maybe in about 8th position, but that's so disappointing. He's inside the top 3, doing such a good job.
That'll give him a couple of 50-cent pieces on the front tyres as well, so that'll make the rest of the race uncomfortable. Now there's Jane. He's going to try and keep that pressure on Cedars and try and find a way back through. Those two cars, the Ford and Holden, down, drag race over the top of the hill. And as you can see here, the Falcon versus Commodore, there's nothing in it. The acceleration, the handling, the braking, it's so close. And Walton, he locks one up. He's got great control of the brake pedal because he's got to get out of that so quickly, not to rip a hole in a tyre.
Chance for Dontas to maybe sneak back up the inside. Wanda on board.
Was there an overlap? No, there wasn't. So Dontas looking to the left, the right. Can he get back? Past Walton. Which way will he go? Down the outside? I don't think he's going to get that done down there, that's for sure.
Recently spent some time over in California at the Grand Prix of Long Beach for the IndyCars. Hanging out with Robbie Gordon, of all people, trying to learn a few more tips about how to set up next year's Clipsal 500, one of the greatest street circuit races in the world on the streets of Long Beach. There's the all-purpose pest controls car up the inside, just driving defensively. It's the reigning champ, Royal Harris. He's finished on the podium here 3 times in WA, also has 3 race wins. Currently protecting that racing line as we go off to an ad break. Jesse Dixon is your race leader. Can he hold on? We'll find out after this. Welcome back to Perth, Barbagallo Raceway is where we're at. This is the V8 Ute Series, protected by Hawkeye. A handful of laps remain in the second race, the reverse grid. We flipped the top 19, and the man who started out of 19th position is currently up inside the top 10. He's in 6th. There he is, Chris Walton. 7.9 seconds off our race leader, Jesse Dixon, who's shooting for his first ever win in the V8 Ute Series. Battle pack right, here's a good one.
Oh, no!
Oh, I thought we were going to have a Scott Pye moment. My heart just sunk. I thought Royal Harris was heading for the grass. That was close.
It tends to happen a lot here at this circuit. You get a bit of an over and under move. So what happens is the outside car manages to get down the inside, and then we have that overlap going down the straight, which sometimes we've seen go very pear-shaped. But the boys have been quite clean and tidy. They managed to get away with it.
Fisher is looking extremely racy behind the current and defending champion in the V8 Ute Series, Royal Harris. Up we go, we're riding on board with Elliot Barber. These are the S's, take a little bit of curb.
It's always fun when you're trying to watch out the windscreen, what's going on, where to pass the car, and then you look in the mirror and there's one trying to pass you and there's one trying to pass him, and then it's all going on all over the place. So that's what we love about ute racing, and they don't mind mixing it up. They don't mind rubbing the panels. And there's Chris Walton down the inside. He is plucking them off all over the place. He is getting up into the top 6 now, and he's doing a great job.
He just outbraked Nathan Pretty. That's not easy. In the CQ group, Commodore, he just put him back another spot. A little bit of a dink in the left rear of that Renko car, but
a little.
It's a little bit out of shape, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down. What a drive! This is one of the best reverse grid races we've seen. We saw Royal Harris win the reverse grid race recently. Oh, Barry!
That's that lock up earlier. It's very easy to catch it again, especially in hard under brakes. And you can see Barber there. He's protecting. He's trying to cover that line. That battle is going to continue.
Sam Barry's done a good job to try and make up for some lost time here after that big moment that he had down in turn 1. But the Mini Quip Ute's going to get relegated back a few spots. Also with Cinepec this weekend offering some support. Cinepec also on board with Jeremy McLeod. Oh, he's about to learn a lesson about these curbs.
You see Sam Barry's got no driver's mirror there. It's pointing to the sky, so that makes it very hard to see what's going on behind you. But he's just going to try and survive this one and stay out of trouble from here on in. He's got flat-spotted front tyres. And he's got the pressure coming on from behind, that's for sure.
Was leading this race at one point as Walton gets another one. That's Gerald McLeod. He's gone up the inside, so Jared goes back another spot, and now we call Maverick. Now he's lining up the Auto 1 Ute. And that's Adam Marjoram in front of him. Marjoram's dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Papa Marjoram from Auto 1.
McLeod, he's going to come back at Walton. He wants to have a bit of a crack at it. Down the inside. Oh, that's going to be close, and he's got away with it. So Chris Walton has hung on to that position, and now he's focused. He wants to be in the top 3, which is a great result considering he's come off 19th on the grid.
What a drive this has been, as this is still going on in the background. Oh, Fisher has got the move made on Harris, but Harris wants to get it straight back, a lot like he did in race number 1. Down, heavy under brakes we go, with also Hansford coming along for the battle as well. He's made the switch back to a Ford this weekend, raced to Holden for round number 1 of the championship on the streets of Adelaide. Now he's back in the Blue Oval and part of the very strong Ford battle that's going on in front of him. As also Slick Medici off the back of the grids managed to get his way up to, 15th at the moment. Not a bad drive at all from Slick.
We've got a battle going on for the lead. We've got a battle going on for 6th place. We've got a battle going on for 16th place. And they're all fighting like it's the world title. It's unbelievable.
Might only be limited points in the reverse grid race, but you wouldn't know about it watching the way that these guys are racing right now. This has been a cracking reverse grid race in the Utes. Only a couple laps left for your leader, Jesse Dixon. He has a comfortable lead. He can now try and save those tyres. No tyre conservation going back here, Jace.
No, we're in those last couple of laps now where you've done the hard work, you got the pressures right early in the race, and now it's a matter of just holding on. And it's there's Walton. He's up the inside again, so he's now in the top 3. And what a great drive! He's come off 19th on the grid, and you can see Marjorie there. He just wants to give him a bit of a tap, let him know that yeah, thanks a lot, mate. You're through. You beat me to the top 3.
Disappointing for Marjoram, but he's still on for a personal best if he can bring it home in 4th. That is not a bad effort at all on home soil. But this drive from Walton, it's been inspired. 19th, up to 30, might not be done yet. He's got his teammate in front of him, Wayne Wakefield, who started last for the weekend, managed to make the invert after having a lower control arm issue. Wasn't quite connected up properly.
So strong under brakes. You can see Chris Walton, he's already pulled that car length and a half, and he is going to have a look at trying to get up in the top 2, which would be an awesome effort.
Down the bottom of the hill will be the spot to make it stick. Has he got the speed? We've seen some very late dive bomb moves. Not going to be close enough this time.
Not close enough now. It's either going to go 2 ways. Is it teammates out there together, they want to beat each other, or they're going to help each other. We're not sure which way it's going to go, particularly with these 2 guys. They're great races, they're hard races. But Chris Walton, he's having a look up the inside. Wayne's protecting it. We're getting down to the final lap, so can Chris get through on Wayne? Oh, Wayne's done a great job there of protecting that one. Last lap, this will be it. It'll be on.
Bit of help from Wahoo Beer, which is coincidental.
Oh, side by side. Oh, no.
Oh, that was not the place to be doing it. He's got the patience. He's got 2 more corners to do it. He didn't need to do it at the S's, and he's still going to have the door open.
Well, this is going to be his spot. Down into turn 6 is where Chris is probably the strongest. That's where he's been passing on the cars. And let's see, Wayne, I'm sure Wayne's going to try and protect this one. And we'll see if Chris can get the job done. He's having a look down the inside. Oh, no, he's not going to get there. So he's now got 1 corner to go, down to turn 7, or he can get on the power and get up the inside.
Marjoram might be able to get a bit of a run on both of them here. He was taking a nice wide entry down at Kolb. The Renko car's up the middle. Marjoram's going to go through with him, but this guy, welcome to Victory Circle. Jesse Dixon, the man they call Hitch. 21 years old, but look for the battle in the background. Here he comes.
We weren't sure what was going to pop out there.
Oh, the teammate's hit. And Walton's going to get up to 2nd. Marjoram, can he sneak back up to 3rd? No, nearly. I'll wait to see the result on that one. I think Wakefield just held on for 3rd in that race. What a reverse grid race. Hansford got up in front of Ryle Harris as well. I think, no, just behind him was Sam Barry that got home in front of Ryle Harris. That was a ridiculous race. Jesse Dixon, first win for his career. Also the first win for the year for Holden. And he is going to be a very happy man.
Well, Jesse, how sweet is that first victory?
Extremely sweet. Motorsport can be a pretty hard road sometimes, and the last couple of years with Heyman Reese, they've sort of picked my career back up, and huge thanks to them, and big thanks to my team, Image Racing, and all my family and friends for all their support over the years, and this day is pretty sweet.
Well, everybody in Uteland's on a bit of a high after what was an incredible race too. The good news, we've still got 1 more race to go. It's coming up after the break.
You're watching the V8 Ute Series. The V8 Ute Command Centre is a portable office for the category managers to meet with drivers, officials and sponsors and ensure the smooth running behind the scenes of the V8 Ute Series. Thanks to truck rental company Rentco, this Volvo Prime mover ensures the Pantech reaches the length and breadth of the country for race meetings.
Generally with our units on an average, they would do about 100 to 150,000 kilometres a year. This unit here itself is clocked over 1 million kilometres and gone through a refurbishment program within the group to get it ready for the V8 Ute guys.
It's a different view from the cabin compared to what Renko Racing's Chris Walton is used to.
Radio, aircon and the talker. Yeah. You haven't got the headsets.
Anyone needs to abuse the other drivers. And without them, I wouldn't be on the track here. The Renko guys are brilliant for me, and they're obviously brilliant for the category, supplying the truck to get the command centre around. I mean, without that, we don't get race meetings.
For more info, head to the V8 Utes website.
It's a very impressive rig, and Renko celebrating 20 years as a company. And they're also celebrating a pole position coming up on board with Chris Walton. They also have 200 staff members from Renco here this weekend, enjoying watching their boy Chris Walton put on one hell of a show, alongside Jesse Dixon off the front row, and looking for some of the bigger names coming down from the back. Well, George Hollywood Elliott coming out of the 10th row. George Medeke has been doing a good job to try and drive up through this field as well. And the hard luck story for the weekend, Phil Woodbury was on for a pole position at the last race, but unfortunately pulled over. He's in the orange Kubota car at the back of the grid. Jason Barkwider alongside me. We're about to go racing for the final race this weekend. Can Chris Walton continue what has been a stellar weekend so far? Somebody stalled at the back, and Dixon gets the jump.
I was going to say, you'd put your money on Chris Walton for that start, but Dixon, he has coped with the pressure well, and he's got through. What I love to see, Wayne Wakefield there pushing his way through. Oh, there's another one coming through as well. We can't see who that quite is at the moment, but this is what you see from the Utes. The pressure is on right throughout the field.
That might have been Sam Barry going up the inside of Gero Gray. Here's Gero McLeod from one Gero to the other. Up the inside. Oh, where's he going?
That's what you call understeer. He's right off racing line. He's creating his new one. Craig Dontis now pulls that little gap on McLeod, which has taken a little bit of pressure off him.
That was tight stuff going through the middle.
Down the inside. Walton down the inside. Didn't take long. He was always been strong there all weekend. He was going to find a way through. And here we go.
That was Wayne Wakefield cracking sideways. I think Hansford might have been involved with that one, maybe even our visitor Sam Barry. As over the hill we go, this big flurry of cars. There's Hansford going down in front of Craig Dontis, and a big move coming up the inside as well is Pretty.
Oh, Pretty.
Now this is going to be good experience here for Jesse Dixon, because he has some massive names around him. Royal Harris now up the inside of Nathan Pretty, so got a great run out of turn 7. And will be hard under brakes down at turn 1. Pretty's going to have to yield that spot. Doesn't want to go losing another spot, because Cedars is in there as well. Some massive heavy hitters in the championship fighting towards the front of the field. Only the second lap.
Well, it doesn't really matter what you do in the format here, does it? You've got Walton, you've got Dixon, you've got Pretty, you've got Jane, you've got Cedars, Royal Harris. The cream rises to the top in the formula that we have here in the Utes. The format they race to, even reversing the top 19, you still get the good guys to the front. And here we go, we're battling for second as Chris Walton. He is out of there.
This is going to be a tough battle for Jesse Dixon. From now on to the end of this 14-lap journey, he is going to have some very busy mirrors, and it's going to start right now, because Royal Harris and the all-purpose car's got a great run. There goes Gero Gray, I should say, going up the inside on the Century batteries on board of Sam Barry, and a good run out of turn 6 makes that spot stick. They raced each other at Pukekohe recently. Now they're racing each other along Harris. Harris is going to be a bit of bump and run. That left-hand door's had more hits than the Beatles right now. Makes that move stick one way or another, and unfortunately for Dixon, he's going to lose a couple of spots.
Nathan Pretty's in the argument as well, so Harris come down, sliding into the side of Dixon. A little bit of contact, but that was okay. Now Nathan Pretty's back in there. Cedars wants part of the action as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Kim Jane tries to find a way through. Dixon's not giving up, though. He is not giving up.
That was a massive slap, door to door, right at the approach of the S's. Could have been massive. They sorted themselves out. Riding on board as we go with the Auto 1 cards, Adam Marjoram. Up and over the hill, Extreme on board. And a little bit of dust getting kicked up. It's blind over there. That's where we had Matty Nolan stranded earlier in the week, and it caught, unfortunately, George Medeke out. Big lock-up. And up the inside goes Hansford. Makes that move stick nicely. Next in line will be Craig Donnis, but Marjoram gets a good run out of turn 6 and has that move just about stuck already as they approach the hill.
So that's the over-under move we talk about. You go down the inside, but you find yourself on the wrong part of the racetrack. Marjoram now, he's got the inside running for the braking zone, but will Hansford try and come back or stay on the outside?
Oh, there goes
Don't need that mirror. What do you need that mirror for?
See Ryan? He comes back over the curb. This is awesome racing.
Dontis in the back of it as well. He wants part of this.
Look how close this is. Oh, Dontis cops a whack as well. Marjoram trading paint galore.
Harris on the outside, Marjoram. He's going to hang on to it now. There's another one in there as well. Wayne Wakefield. He's trying to find a way through. He's picked up 2 spots.
Oh. Hansford sideways on the curbs. Dontis has got the move made as well, and the multi-spares Utes going backwards. Here comes McLeod. That was exciting. Replay, Yokohama replay of the start, and if we could pick one tiny chink in the armour of Walton this weekend, it'd be that he's been second into turn 1 on both of his front row starts. That's about all I can pick, but these guys have been going toe-to-toe extremely hard. Talking about Marjoram and Hansford.
But you can see there, Marjoram, he actually missed the jump initially. Hansford got the better jump, but then Marjoram got the power down, and he's put himself up a row. He's gone around the outside of Barber. Look at the action, side by side. They don't give an inch, these boys, do they?
That was awesome. A couple of rookies from last year going side by side through turn number 1.
Speaking of side by side.
Yep, it's back on down here at turn 7, and Marjoram's mirror is long gone. You'll have to go to Auto 1 for a new one of those later. Got Wahoo Wakefield with the Wahoo sponsorship on board. He's got more alcohol sponsorship going on than anyone this weekend.
He's run the high line. He's run round the outside of the last corner. He's trying to stay on the outside through turn 1. I don't think he's going to stay there. There's just not enough grip on the outside. Marjoram's given enough room, so it's good, clean racing from these guys. A bit of rubbings racing, but that's what we like to see. Speaking of clean racing.
This has got to give. Something has to give. They can't keep this up. Surely not. We're on board with Craig Dontis, and Marjoram's losing tyre wear in a very rapid rate. He would have more than likely gone for the fresh set of tyres for race number 2, seeing he had a really good grid spot for that second race and brought it home at a personal best inside that top 5. And he's going to be a busy boy right now because Wakefield goes up the inside. Watch Hansford go for the right as well in the multi-spares forward up the inside, and Marjoram goes back 2 spots in 1 corner.
But Marjoram's down the outside, so if he can actually find a way to stay there, he could hang on around the outside, cut back, Dontis on the inside. I don't know, I can't even predict who's going to get this one.
Yep, Dontis is going to relegate Marjoram back another one, so 3 in a corner, and now McLeod not quite going to get the drive up the inside. I thought Marjoram was going to be the Ute punching bag there for a few more corners. Once he gets stuck out on the left-hand side, it's a long way back in. This is exciting racing. A quick break, we're going to keep bumping our way to the finish line. Welcome back, and while we were at the break, this was going on the racetrack. Yokohama replay, Nathan Pretty going right up the inside.
Down the inside, Pretty, but watch for Royal Harris. He'll come back at him now as they come up over the top of the hill. There we go, side by side, down to the last corner. The big braking duel. Who is going to hold on to this one? And Jesse Dixon, he's looking to buy into this argument as well. He wants to be part of the action.
But watch this. The CQ Group car goes flying way out to the left.
Where's Nathan Pretty going? Which side of the curve do we use? Doesn't matter. We got the job done.
I thought he was going to end up in the old pits. I remember Tony Longhurst going through those pits. The great rapid rate of knots in the old Castrol Falcon.
Backwards, I think it was, yeah.
That was a long, long time ago. Resuming the action, and Jesse Dixon biting off more than he can chew this weekend. Good stuff from the 21-year-old. He's done so well to keep up there inside that top 5 and pushing the defending champ in that Heyman Reese car. Part of, and it's actually an Erebus developed and prepared race car, the Heyman Reese Ute, and he's doing such a good job to be up there inside that top 5 with his first ever race victory this weekend.
And when you come off that race victory, the confidence level's high, and you can see that he's now mixing it with these front guys without a drama. Oh, let's use a bit of the racetrack and a bit more as well. And side-by-side action. Medecky there recovering from that big accident on in race 1, and to be fighting his way back through was fantastic to see.
Spud Wood on that Yokohama replay getting very, very sideways on the approach through the S's. He's been here in Perth for 3 days doing store appearances at Battery World. Also had a little bit of testing coming into this weekend at Calder Park. Century Batteries on board now with Jeremy Gray up and over this hill, fast part of the racetrack. Rear end of the Ute wants to step out, take a little bit of the exit curb. They've added that for the weekend. Also a bit of work down at turn number 1 as well, as they fire off down the hill, and another big move coming up.
Sam Barry down the inside again. He's obviously got different tyres on the front of that now. He's able to get those braking manoeuvres done. And I can imagine these engineers looking at all the tyres before this final race, just shaking their head. It is hard on tyres at this circuit, and you've just got to save the best of this last race. This is where the points matter. But Sam Barry, he's gone down the inside, and he's found himself on the outside. It's a very hard place to pass around here.
Watch George Miedeke try and slot up into this battle as well. Here he comes.
And again, which side of the curve we use, we don't really care. We're going to use all of it.
I love in race 1, the entire field got the black and white sportsmanship flag for curb hopping. Everybody got one. Oh, big lock up again from Barry. And he goes firing off, and up the inside goes Miedeke. In the ISEEK Wake Up Commodore. It was looking like going to be the first Holden home in the first race for the weekend, and Holden finally breaking through for their first win of the year. And until that point, 8 out of the last 9 races had been won by a Ford. Amazing, considering that last year it was split evenly, 24 races, 12 wins Ford, 12 wins Holden. But so far this year, the Fords seem to have the speed to get the job done, and it's a Ford winning this one right now. Chris Walton, a comfortable leader. Back down at Cold we go, the bowl. Awesome part of the racetrack. And Jeremy Gray, the two Geros are going to go toe-to-toe up over the hill.
It's all about now looking after that rear tyre, getting the power down, and you can see Gray protecting the line there. He's obviously got a mirror full of car, and he's trying to work out a way to hang on to that position, let alone trying to pass one. Nathan Pretty there, he's pulling a little bit of a gap on Royal Harris, and that battle with Dixon and Jane is still continuing now. Fisher buying into that argument as well.
Awesome battle for third position on the racetrack right now. The all-purpose ute is at the front of that little battle. 1.5 laps to go. And a great job from Andrew Fisher, qualified third, finished third in the first race, and he's hanging on to that spot in front of David Cedars. So Cedars looking like losing the championship points lead here this weekend. You would imagine Chris Walton's going to hang on to this win. Comfortable leader at the moment. Should take the points lead with us to round 3 as we head off to Darwin. Looking forward to getting up into the top end. And also looking forward to some developments coming up in the Ute Series. Keep an eye out for some different manufacturers possibility, or definitely coming into the Utes. And already Roll Harris is touching base with West End Mazda, so could be seeing maybe a Mazda Ute coming into the V8 Ute Series in the future years in this sport. So that's going to be exciting times as our leader, Chris Walton, takes...
Wayne Wakefield down the inside.
Whoa! Cedars with a big slide.
Lights it up, tries to get on the power. The tyres are over it. They've had enough, but he's managed to hold on to that position. Wayne Wakefield pushing through. Look at this battle here. This is for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. It just keeps going right down the field.
Never knew you were a horse race caller, Bugs. Maybe there's a...
Oh, Gray's having a look as well. Oh, lock up from Jared. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on this last lap.
Just in case everybody was keeping something in reserve this weekend, I don't think they were.
You're kidding, are you?
But just in
You've
case
been
they
watching
were,
this.
They're about to give it all up on this last lap. No need to go pushing for this guy. The Renko Ute is in a league of its own. I don't know what's been more impressive, driving away from the field or that amazing drive in race 2. From 19th to 2nd, as somehow everybody is going to bring it home in this incredible mid-pack battle. But this guy, new championship leader, former Rookie of the Year, now working nicely, 3rd season. And this could be the year for Chris Walton as he rounds the last corner. In front of all the Renko staff, he lights it up. Chris Walton wins in Perth. A very commanding weekend, and your new championship leader, as it's still going on in the background, Roll Harris, just gets home in front of Jesse Dixon, Kim Jane in there, Andrew Fisher, Wayne Wakefield, everybody else. What a race. In 5.6 seconds, Chris Walton wins another race for Ford ahead of Nathan Pretty. And a great drive further back in the field, McNally from last, 17th.
Well, Chris Walton, it can't get any better than this, and now also leading the championship.
Yeah, it's been a perfect round pretty much. 2 wins in a second, so can't ask for much more. We come in third place in points, going out in the lead. Last year we come in first and went out in about 6th, so I mean this is so much better. So it's great for Renko, great for the whole team. Yeah, bring on Darwin.
And you're racing a lot. You're going to New Zealand. Is all that time in the seats really helping your craft, do you think?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you only got 8 rounds a year here, so to get the New Zealand gig as well and get more laps over there, it's only helping. All the seat time you can get makes it easier.
And with that, he now leads the points for both the New Zealand Series and the Australian Series, but it's just 9 points ahead from David Cedars. And I wonder if Chris Walton can do what we saw Chris Pither do a few years ago in winning both the series. And how about this guy, winning our Masters Award, qualified 3rd in the Jesus Ute, and brought it home with a couple of strong race results. Andrew Fisher takes the Masters Award, and the rookie for Wanda is so far going the way of Phil Woodbury. So unlucky in race number 2 not to be starting off the first row. But congratulations to the 3 guys finishing up on the podium. Roll Harris, his 4th podium at this track, but no one was ever going to stop Chris Walton from winning. Can they stop him at Hidden Valley? Well, I'll have to wait and see. It's the 3rd race of the championship. Cannot wait to head up to the top end for another round of the Utes. Thank you very much to Jason Bargwanna as we swapped as much paint as humanly possible here in Perth. Bring on the next round, the Australian V8 Ute Series, protected by Hawkeye.